And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show now, we are going to discuss Sunday night's game between the Bills and the Bengals. The Bengals winning that game 24-18. And, from the start of the game, you could tell the Bengals were going to dominate this game. And that was pretty much the case. The Bills obviously, made it close at the end. But they did not get the ball back. And the Bengals ultimately won. They looked like the better team. I mean, listen, I know last year when they played in Cincinnati, the game, ended very early because of what happened with Damar Hamlin. But even before that, you could tell the Bengals, they went down the field their first drive in that game. I think the Bills answered with a field goal, but, then the Bengals, before that, what happened with Damar Hamlin, they looked like they were going to go down the field again and score a touchdown. But obviously the game didn't resume because of what happened. Then they met in the playoffs, and the Bengals, they dominated that game, and they dominated this game. Joe Burrow looks really good. The offense is clicking. T. Higgins had a big game. The Bengals look like the Bengals. And Joe Burrow, if he's healthy and, the Bengals offense is humming, the rest of the NFL really should be concerned about what's going on. Right now they're 5-3. They still got some ground they got to make up with the Ravens, and they already lost to the Ravens, which doesn't really help. But they look like themselves. Burrow 31-44, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. They didn't really run the ball that effectively. They only ran it for 54 yards. Mixon 37 yards rushing, but he did have a touchdown. T. Higgins was their leading receiver. He had 8 receptions for 110 yards. Tyler Boyd had 3 for 56. Jamar Chase had 4 for 41. Drew Sample had a touchdown. Irv Smith Jr. had a touchdown in this game. And then as for the Bills, Josh Allen was 26-38, 258 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He was their leading rusher with 44 yards and a rushing touchdown. That was on their opening drive. Stephon Diggs, of course, had a touchdown, 86 yards receiving. Dalton Kincaid, he had 81 yards receiving. Khalil Shakir, who's actually been getting more involved in the offense the last couple of weeks, he had 4 for 57. But yeah, the Bengals, they pretty much dominated this game. They looked like the much better team. The Bills. As for the Bills, it's concerning what's going on with them. Their offense just has not looked good these last several weeks, ever since the London game against Jacksonville, which I thought was just, listen, it was a tough spot to be in, with them getting there and having to adjust to the time, and and Jacksonville being there already. So you kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt, but since then they just have not been. They haven't been good. They struggled against the Giants. The Bucs game, they looked like the much better team, but again, Josh Allen turned the ball over in that game. The Patriots game was a mess, and this game again, Josh Allen threw a pick in this game as well. They do not look good right now, and it's concerning. It really is, and they're not really running the football. They struggled to run the football. They did bring in Leonard Fournette, so you think that's going to help, but. Yeah, right now it just does not look good for the Bills. And I don't know what they're going to do. I really, if I'm going to be honest, I really have no idea what they are going to do. So, you look at the defense. The defense is dealing with injuries, of course. They brought in Rasul Douglas, which you would think is going to help. But it's just... I really don't know what this team is right now. They're on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs. You have every team right now in the AFC North in a playoff spot right now. And it's crazy to think about, but that's the case. And the Bills, let's look at their upcoming schedule. And we'll pull that up really quickly. So the Bills for the rest of the year. So next week they play the Broncos at home. Home against the Jets. At Philadelphia, bye week. At Kansas City, home against Dallas. At the Chargers, home against the Patriots. At Dolphins. There's tough games there. This team could be looking at, there might be 3 or 4 losses in there. And if that's the case, you might finish with 9, 10 wins on the season. And it's really hard for me to say that because this team is so talented. Josh Allen, when he's right, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Oh my God, that sneeze was, all right, I held it in though. But when he's right, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He is, talent-wise. And it's just, people are talking about, is he on the decline? Is this it? But I'm going to be honest. I'm not ready to say that. But something is off. Something's off right now. And I think this is a team that definitely is going to need changes in the offseason with maybe the offensive coordinator, because I know that's somebody that Bills fans might want gone. But they don't run the football well. I mean, outside of Stephon Diggs, there's really nobody that scares you. Dalton Kincaid, since Dawson Knox got hurt, I mean, he's been playing well. Gabe Davis has those big games here and there, but he's not consistent. Like I mentioned, Shakir is getting more involved. But, right now, I don't really know what to say with this team. It's, I really don't know. They need another threat at wide receiver. I mean, the defense is getting older too. I mean, you got some older players on that side of the ball. I mean, and they're dealing with injuries. So, I don't really know what the Bills do from here, but yeah, they're kind of in trouble at the moment. And as for the Bengals, I mean, they continue to roll. They look really good. I mean, they're gonna take a run at this division too. I mean, the Ravens better be careful with this team. So. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with this game. With that, we're going to take our second break of the show, and then when we come back, we will then discuss all the early window games. I'll recap all of them, and that's what we will do when we come back from break. But before that, I just want to remind you guys to tip or donate, get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show. It's a great way to become part of the show. And, make sure to go and do that. Again, the link is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. So when we come back from our second break of the show, we will then recap the early window games from Sunday. Sorry, I had to I capitalize in that segment. So that's what we will do when we come back. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.